Become friendly with God, the source. Become an instant and powerful creator of your life. Understanding that God has feelings too, you will understand God a bit more, and that you will see and understand that you were made in the likeness and in the image of God. So God is in the likeness and in the image of you. And I think that is a really powerful. If you understand that, then you understand how powerful you are. That God has the feeling of regret. God regretted making human beings. He saw all the wickedness after Adam and Eve multiplied. He saw all the wickedness of the earth, and he decided to destroy them all, except for Noah. He found favor in Noah, and he saved Noah and his family, and he allowed them to multiply. And it wasn't the first time that he had that feeling. He had that feeling later, after leading his own people out of the hands of Egypt. God also has anger. God has the feelings and the emotion of anger. It is actually a very strong anger that made him almost kill Moses. Moses is the one that led God's people out of from the hands of the Egyptians. God was so angry at Moses that he almost killed him. He was this close to killing Moses. And another thing that I find quite interesting is that when God appeared himself to Moses and asked him to lead his people out of the hands of the Egyptians, Moses was like, can you please send someone else? And this angered God a bit, and Moses was like, sorry, but I am not the most eloquent person. Like, I'm not good at speaking. But what did God say? God responded with, who gave human beings their mouth to speak? Who gave human beings their eyes to see? Wasn't it I, the Lord? So Moses was like, okay, because God said, I'm going to bring someone with you so that he can speak through you. I think Moses was very hesitant. Another emotion that God feels is jealousy. So there are many times when God says, I am a jealous God. And he is speaking towards about human beings having other gods. So he does not like this, and this makes him very angry. Another feeling that God has is the feeling of justice, or you could say revenge. God is karma. God punishes people for their wickedness, even his own people. Even the King David, who wrote most of the Psalms and who God favored and who God made king over his people for many years, David had an affair with a woman that was not his wife, and God punished him for that. He has the ability of consideration. Is his ability to change his mind if you ask him. So his consideration to your demands. So in Genesis 18, verse 23 to 32, God wants to destroy the entire city along with the people of Sodom, because it was just very, very wicked, right? But Abraham said, oh, but what if there's like 50 righteous people in the city? Will you save the entire city if there's 50 righteous people? And God says, if I find 50 righteous people, I will save the whole city. And then Abraham says, oh Lord, now that I've been so bold as to speak, let me just ask you this. And Abraham says, what if there's 45 righteous people? Will you save the entire city for 45 righteous people? And God says, if I find 45 righteous people, I won't destroy the city. And then And then Abraham says, God, please don't be angry with me, even though I am only dust and ashes. But what if there's 40 people? Will you save the entire city if there's 40 people? And God says, if I find 40 righteous people, I won't destroy the city. I will save the entire city. And then Abraham says again, oh, Lord, please don't be angry. But what if there's 30 righteous people? Will you save the entire city for 30 righteous people? And God says, if I find 30 righteous people, I won't destroy the city. And then again, Abraham says, oh Lord, please don't be angry at me for speaking, but what if there's 20 righteous people? Will you save the city for 20 righteous people? And God says, okay, I won't destroy the city if I find 20 righteous people. And then again, Abraham was like, I'm so sorry, Lord, please don't be angry at me, but what if there's 10 righteous people? Will you save the entire city for 10 righteous people? And God says, okay, if I find 10 righteous people, I will save the entire city. And then they go on their way. So I think that really makes you understand that God is considerate of your demands if you ask him, right? So that is quite interesting, that God does take your requests and he does want to make you happy if the motive is correct, however, right? Because a lot of times when you want to manifest something or when you ask God for something, if you have to really evaluate the motive of your request. Is it a selfish motive? Then God is most likely not going to answer your request. Another time that he did take into consideration a human being's request is again in Exodus 32, after Moses led God's people out of the hands of the Egyptians. These people were so horrible. Like, they did not appreciate God, and they just complained and complained. For some reason, created their own gods out of gold and silver. And so God saw that, and of course he was very angry, and he said to Moses that he was going to bring a disaster to the people. And Moses reminded him. Moses said, oh God, you shouldn't do that, because if you destroy these people, then the Egyptians are going to say, oh look, God just took his people out just to destroy them, and they're going to laugh. And so God was like, okay, fine. He relented, and he did not destroy the people. So once again, that reminds you about how considerate God is of your demands. And if you believe, and if you have been following the teachings of Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, and Florence Scovel Shinn, they speak about the metaphysical meanings of the Bible, but also they speak about how, God is the source, and God is the one that brings your desires into fruition. So if you want to become a powerful creator, I would suggest that you form a relationship with God, and don't see God as just something in the heavens, but see God as something closer to you and to who you are, and understand yourself through him. So I hope that was valuable, and thank you so much for watching, and just remind you to like and subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. It would be very, very sweet. And yeah, God bless. See you in the next video.